I'm gonna head, if you want to make a marker on your map, you could just hit your triangle button, quick marker. To save a location, hold that, go down to save waypoint, and you could pick a different thing, traders, with the same icon that they use for the buildings. So let's see, where's the road? There's the road. Let me get down on my mini bike here and drive over to the road. Roads will always lead to towns, and towns will always have stores in them. So they will also always have zombies in them, so be aware of that. Houses like this in the wilderness usually also spawn a few zombies, but usually they're pretty easy to take care of. Always search cars. Cars generally have decent stuff in them. That time it did not, but always search cars if you come across them, especially if you're looking for something or you desperately need something. Search cars. That was a bird's nest. This is what they look like. And you'll just come in and it'll either have feathers or eggs, or it'll have feathers and eggs. If you want to grab everything, you can just click down on your left joystick and it'll grab everything that's in any container that you loot. The more looting you do, the better your scavenging skill gets, and then we'll go through skills when we get up to this road, but then you can up the quality of the things that you get from different lootable items. You know what? Let's just go into a random house. That'll be easy. Alright. Whew. It is a dark, dark, dark building in here. So I'm also going to give myself a mining helmet, which if you can find one as soon as you possibly can. It will come in handy quite a bit. Once you get that, boom, instant light everywhere you go. Bookcases will either have schematics or paper. This one is a schematic, so it's a hunting rifle. Once I read it, I'll be able to put together a hunting rifle, and you'll find different gun parts throughout the world. So the more schematics you read, the more guns you'll be able to put together. Obviously, that is something you want to do. So let's go into the creative world for a minute. I'm going to pop over to schematics. Each one will provide you with a different ability to do things. Most of them is weapons or ammo related. This one, tasting and brewing, allows you to brew or to get hops, plant hops, and then turn around and make beer. Beer does keep you from getting stunned, and if you get hit enough time by zombies, you get stunned, so that's a very handy thing to be able to make. It also sells very well, so it's also handy to make just for the purpose of selling it as well if you don't drink it a whole lot. Some of them are also tool related, so before you're able to put together a nail gun, which the nail gun is the fastest way to upgrade things, you gotta read the schematic. Same goes with the auger. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. That's also not what I meant to do. Same goes with the auger and the chainsaw. Now I will warn you, auger and chainsaw will burn through two things very quickly. One, repair kits. It will be a constant drain on repair kits, so try to have a good buffer of repair kits, and I'll teach you guys how to make all that fun jazz later. And two, gas. It will burn through a lot of gas to use these two items. Personally, I never used the chainsaw. They're also very noisy, and because they're noisy, they can bring in zombies. So just kind of be aware before you start using these two items that there is that risk involved. Gas can, you find gas barrels throughout the world. You'll find gas cans as well, obviously, and you can convert cans into barrels without a schematic, but you cannot convert barrels into cans without the schematic. And you cannot use barrels, you have to use cans, and anything that needs gas, you need a gas can to refuel it. So if you haven't found the schematic yet and you keep finding gas barrels, they're essentially useless to you, except they do blow up, so you can use them for that, but that's about it. Now these two, this wrench schematic and claw hammer schematic, those actually don't matter in this current update of the game. So you don't actually need either of those two things in order to make the claw hammer or the wrench. So you won't actually find those. The herbal antibiotics recipe is incredibly rare, hard to find, and usually you end up having to find it at a trader, and it costs quite a bit of money. The mini bikes I already mentioned, you need to find that as soon as you possibly can, because it'll provide you with the fastest and easiest and safest mode of transportation you could have. Handle bike schematic is not something that is in this version, so it's there, but you don't need it. So just ignore it. Personally, I don't make leather armor or iron armor. You can if you want to. That's entirely up to you. Darn it, I did it again. I gotta stop grabbing things. The MacGyver's one is scrap boots, scrap iron, different scrap iron armors. Now, that one you won't find in-game, but these yellow ones, you will find in-game. There's, as you can see, several different types that you can find, as well as several different types of treasure maps. Treasure maps are very good. I would suggest saving them and holding on to them for once you up your treasure hunter skill. But treasure, when you go and you find it, it can give you a whole bunch of coins. It could give you really good ammo. It could give you really good guns. There's all kinds of goodies in treasure. So if you get a chance to go out and get some treasure, go out and get you some treasure. Keep in mind, though, that if you read one, so let's see which one I have down here. I have, oh gosh, I gotta get closer. Okay, so I have Claude's treasure map, and I have Silence of the Lambs. So let's grab some Sarah's and this one. And once you read these, okay, so I'm gonna read that. It'll pop up with what the note is. So this one is kill a screamer zombie. That's pretty easy to do. Make a heat map, kill a screamer zombie, boom. You get some points for it. You get 5 skill points to utilize for it. So you can accept it, and then it'll become an active test or an active quest. If you decline it, that quest is gone forever. You can't get it back unless you have another one to read. Treasure maps are the same way. So if you read it, if you accept it, you will get up on your compass up there. I couldn't think of it. You'll get a little symbol that represents the treasure. You can see it's just south, just a little bit past the southwest, just a little bit left of the southwest. As you get closer to the treasure, it will start flashing red, and then once you get to that point, you need to start digging around. When the bigger it flashes, the faster it flashes, the closer you are to the treasure. And like I said, treasure is a very good thing to have. But if I read another treasure map, another one will pop up. Nope, I'm wrong. That one was useless. It doesn't matter, apparently. If I go up to quests, though, I can... Is it because I read 2 of Claude's? There we go. Alright. Go to accept it, and then it'll pop up with another treasure map. But if you read a different... Let's see. I'm gonna read this one. We'll accept that one. That one's kill some stags. And we're gonna read this one. That one's the kill a screamer zombie. Accept that. Now, this one has started. The kill a zombie one has started, as opposed to the stag one. If I go down to quests, though, I can pick the one, but you can see it didn't get me anything. My reward would have been 1 skill point, but since I picked a different one, it went away. I didn't get a chance to do it. This one does give me a time limit. That's optional. And if I kill 3 screamer zombies within the optional time limit, I would get 2 extra skill points, so I'd get a total of 3 skill points. Again, handy to have. wouldn't suggest it early game. You usually get skill points pretty quickly early game, as opposed to late game when it starts getting a little bit more difficult to level up. Then I would start doing them. So I would save them for late game for that purpose. So while we're on that, each schematic will also up your different skills in a different way. Okay, skills. So the survivor, it slows your metabolism so you don't have to eat as often. I wouldn't suggest using it early game, but if you feel like you're really struggling to find food or water, definitely pump some points into survivor and the camel, because camel lets you go longer without drinking. Quicker crafting, again, not a beginning game that I would pump things into, but obviously it increases the speed at which you craft. The fixer means that when you repair an item, it will repair a little bit better with each upgrade. Archery is how good you are with a bow. Now, things that say 1 point, you don't need to pump skills into. While you're doing things in the world, it will up your skills automatically. So every time I shoot my bow, I will get an archery point. Every time I make an armor item, I will get an armor point. Athletics goes up pretty quickly early game because you're running around everywhere. So every time you run around, your athletics goes up. Health nut's pretty important. Not something I personally pump a lot of points into beginning game. If you're brand new, maybe it's a good idea, as it will increase your baseline health each time you do it. So right now my baseline health is at 100. And I do have 2 or 10 skill points, so I'll buy it. And it should bump my health. It didn't bump my health. Oh, it's because, okay, so if I died right now, my health would stay at 100. If I didn't put that health nut in and I died, my health would drop down to 80. So each time you pump points into it, it means that when you die, your base health that you go back to isn't that bad, because you will lose points when you die. Sexual Tyrannosaurus allows you to have better stamina. Now that is something I put a lot of points into. Barter is really easy. It sounds like it's difficult, but it's really, really, really easy to upgrade. People make the mistake of when they sell an item to the trader, they'll hit the sell all and they'll just max out how many they sell them. When you're starting out, if you're selling something like paper, it's pretty useless. You can sell it quickly and efficiently. Just sell a whole bunch of it by hitting the one sell, one sell, one sell. It takes some time, but it will up your barter skill very quickly. And as you up your barter skill, you'll unlock secret stash. So you see up here it says you need your barter skill to be 20 to unlock it. And the more unlocks you have of secret stash, the better the secret stash will be. Things like knife guy, decapitator, I'll pump points into Pummel Pete as I get a little bit later on because I enjoy using a club, but not necessary to do, especially beginning game. Things that are, let's go up to firearms. So things that are like the outlaw, dead shot, better lead than dead, boomstick, splattergun. Those are things that you can do a little bit later on in the game once you've established the rest of your core character, if you will, but they're not essential. You don't have to do them. You do want to do these. This 9mm crafting, you'll use that in your SMGs and your pistols. Your Magnum crafting, your 7.62 crafting, that will be your sniper and your hunting rifle, and your shotgun crafting. You will want to eventually get those. I would say by week 3, maybe week 4, depending on how often you use guns. These things mostly will up on their own, except for Pummel Pete, which makes it really fun to knock off zombie heads because it increases the likelihood of knocking out zombie heads. So that's fun.